On this episode, we're going to talk about how to pick the correct reeds for alto saxophone or any of the saxophones and clarinet. These are just going to be tips from a band director. They're not necessarily tips for expert players on their instruments. If you are in need of teacher coaching, I would love to talk to you further. Just contact me in the email provided in the show notes or call me at 719-238-4193 and let's talk about that some more. Quality versus value. Now, if you go with Vandoren reeds are going to be a little bit better quality, but Rico reeds are going to be a much better value per reed and per reed cost. Now, whatever you do, don't buy the no-name brands. I made a mistake last year. I found a really good deal on Amazon for these reeds, and I was at a school that provided the reeds for the kids, and I bought a big package of 25 of them, and the kids kept telling me the reeds wouldn't play even though I was giving them a brand new reed. And of course, I thought that they weren't using them right until I tried to play on one of the reeds and I realized it was a piece of junk and I had to throw them away. So I learned my lesson. Don't buy the no-name brands. For clarinets, I usually start the students on a strength 2, but I find that it's not long before they end up going to a 2.5. And Vandorens tend to be about a half strength harder than Ricos. So if you start them on Rico to get the value on a 2, and then when they're ready to move up, you can try them on a 2.5, or if you're just telling them what reeds they should get to on their own. I also find that the clarinets, when we start going over the break, a lot of them will have to go up a half strength in reed because the way that they're blowing and the way that their embouchure is set is closing off the reed from making a sound. So if they get no sound at all, a lot of times it will mean that the reed is too soft. For saxes, I like to start them on a 2.5 strength reed, and most of them I have found actually will stay there. If they can get a sound, but it's like very muffled sound, then I would try a harder reed, or if it's a very spread out sound, if a clarinet can't go across the break, try a harder reed. And another tip, this isn't really a reed tip, but something related to saxes, and I will put a link to this in the show notes too. If your saxes sound like squawking geese, they are probably overblowing. Check out the video in the show notes that talks a little bit more about that.
The music and podcast, where you get quick and easy tips for how to be a better